Hey everyone, Fair Whenever Do here. Welcome back to Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Her habit of scratching her neck when she talks about the moment of the crime. For a reminder of the moment of the crime. What moment? There must be some reason. And the moment is, crime scene photo 2 didn't work, so crime scene photo number 1. Does that work? Is it the deathly bottle? Present? Take that! Because why not? Just at the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. Or there's more at the moment than this bottle, a murder weapon. Boom, but something doesn't fit. If you were only witness to the crime, why would you touch your neck like you're in pain? Mr. Smith, the victim who was hit, not you. Objection! This is cross-examination, not cross-wild conjure. The witness's habits, they're completely irrelevant. Justice, I'll admit, I'm a bit confused myself. It's certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later. Just trust me. Now is our only chance to break her. Miss Orley, please testify in detail at the moment of the crime. This is the very moment. Yet, I'm knowing nothing. We know you're not Russian. The witness will testify, please, now. Bah, fine. He's the one who did it. He's the one who did it. I didn't sight until the cops got there. Hold it! You seem uneasy. You try sitting up here. Her eyes are darting all over the place. I must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what is the defendant like? Well, he must have been stunned by the way of his crime. He sat in a daze at a table until the cops came. Intriguing. I believe you got all the testimony you're going to get out of this witness. So what do you think about her testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is flawed. It's basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence. What's that? Yes, it contradicts evidence. So else is evidence, Mr. Justice. The evidence that you claim contradicts the testimony. She didn't let him out of his sight until the cops got there. I noticed some evidence that contradicts that. Take that! Right, cell phone. The one thing. We have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. States that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. Yeah. And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call for the first floor of the Board Street Phone Club. Ah, booyah. So, explain how you kept your eye on the defendant when he left the room entirely. Eek. Oh, balls to the wall. The man who picked the bottle and swung it at night wasn't the defendant. It was. Here we go. Re-entry of the crime scene. Showdown time. You dirty cheat. Check his pockets, now. It's gone. The card's gone. You lose. Ah! Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle from next to Wright, and he hit me. You turned out to be. Okay. When I came to, the victim was already dead. That's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. Count that I was in league with Smith, I'd be sure. Well, this is something. Where does this leave us? Madness! This is madness! I'm dreaming! This is madness! Who killed him? I'm imagining all It must have been me who was here with a bottle, and I'm imagining all this. Appears our prosecution is at its wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Me neither. Mr. Gavin, what do you think of this turn of events? Mr. Gavin, sir, I believe that, as a defense in this case, we are compelled to call Mr. Wright a big fat liar. What? 3 were in that room and then murdered. Defendant, victim, and her. She has a motive. A motive? Her plot foiled. The witness got into an argument with a client, Mr. Smith. Argument was murder. What? I didn't. No, I'm no killer. It's a trap. Someone's trying to frame me. Of course. How's someone trying to frame you? Phoenix. Here we go. What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process. Mr. Wright! Such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christopher Gavin. What do you say? Might consider the other possibility. That there was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Oh, you've got to be kidding me! Saying before recess, a single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. When the swapped the card didn't know 2 codes were being used. 4th person. Objection! This theory again. Your 4th person doesn't exist. Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance of deception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal. The real criminal? And we're in luck. It included the real criminal's identity was kind of divided for us. And right at the beginning of the trial, no less. What? Apollo? Perhaps you know what I'm talking about. Sorry, pal. Remember what I said? The 4th person who swapped the card made one critical error. He or she wasn't... Right. But how could such an obvious mistake occur? The card used in this game was red, yet, therefore... There is one person here in our court who thought those cards were blue. Yeah, I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was? It's not me. Whoa, really? Who is this 4th person? Why do I always get put in a spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards of the final game were blue? Christopher Gavin. Okay, so it can't be him. It literally cannot be him. It can't be him. It's got to be Shady Smith. It's got to be Smith, right? Oh, take that! Take that! There we go. Apollo, do you seriously think that? Yes, I seriously think that. I think I'm seriously confused. I'm seriously sorry. Nope, that didn't go well. Well then, who did it? Can't be helped. I almost missed it myself. But it doesn't do anyone good to turn their eyes away from the truth. Does it, Christoph? Mr. Gavin, you? You don't mean... Christoph Galvin, you were the 1st... Oh, come on! How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue, which of the cards are on the floor of the table. But look, you can see the colors in this photo. Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. It's true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim, yet it was only that, a game. Since a competition, Your Honor. A competition? Yes, a test of wit. Since only the cards, their backgrounds in blue flame, note its final outcome. Alright. Well, Christoph? Mr. Gavin? Mr. Gavin, is something the matter? No, nothing. Excuse me, it was just so sudden. Right? You aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Christoph. You know, even I'd never take a joke this far. Oh, goodness. Objection! This has gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb. This is insanity. You got that right, dude. This defendant accusing his own defense attorney against murder. Sake of murder, of course. So, first it was Phoenix, then it's this hard trick player, and now it's another defense attorney. His own defense attorney. Now they're accusing him of murder? Come on. For the love of goodness, just choose someone that murdered him. I assure you, I'm quite sane. But what possibility connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim? I wasn't aware that I had connection to Mr. Smith either. Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim had never even met. Well, what if they have? Huh? There's a possibility, after all, they might have met that night before the game started. What are you suggesting? Is there saying silent about? Well, only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you testify to the court. Objection! The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin, let's relate to the case. It can happen for the game of poker be related. Really? Really, man? Now you're just trying to pull something off. Now you're just trying to pull something off you can't even think of pulling. You can't pull this off. I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin. Me neither. As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss O'Reilly, I am to assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this case. Is he the defense, not you? Ooh, Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you. Oh, okay. Gulp. Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear hear the testimony? This is Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along, and I intend to see it through. Defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. Into justice, you would betray me, your teacher? I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth. Defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand, please. Oh, goodness. Here we go again. Appetite before murder. That evening, Christoph and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Christoph left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold, and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call. Defense Attorney Gavin. Oh, goodness. Mr. Gavin, you were at the Borscht Bowl Club the night of the murder? I dine with him rather frequently. And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder? Quite against my will, I had become involved in a murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. And I did it back then, and now? I thought my office was doing you a favor when we took on your defense. It appears that I was wrong. Ooh, very well. The defense may cross-examine the witness. Just this? Sir? He's lying, and you're going to expose him? Understood, sir. Gavin versus Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? Yeah, this is your first trial. That is sad that you can't have a normal one. Type before murder. That evening, Christoph and I had dinner. We sat at the table in the photograph. Hold it! You had dinner with Mr. Gavin? Yes, he dines with me at the Borscht Bowl Club quite frequently. We enjoyed the usual dinner at our usual spot, as usual. I always get at the table closest to the piano. I see. Where's Mr. Smith sitting? So the plates and such on your table were from your dinner? Indeed. I remember my meal with Christoph. Dying for 2 hours. Then Christoph left. After that, Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Christoph left. Hold it. Let's see what this does. 5 minutes. So the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time. That would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure. Objection. Hehehe. Oh, Mr. Wright. What was it you said Christoph Gavin and Shady Smith may have met? I believe I did say that. Here I was all nervous about this meeting. Now I hear they just passed in the hall. That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder. It would be, if that was all that really happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. What are you hiding this time? When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. Hold it. About this failed trap. This is the same trap as Mr. Oliver mentioned. The plan was simple. Elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during the games. Call and search Wright. Then he pulled out a plant card, and the trap would snap shut. You swapped the cards? Heck. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. Yes, a harmless prank in essence. It is but a quirk of fate that I haven't discovered. A quirk? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card she planted. Yes, I snuck a peek at it, and it was a 5. It was a 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Disposed? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw it inside the bottle. An empty bottle of grape juice? The murder weapon? Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, I rolled it up and shoved it in. The colored glass makes it hard to see. A battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like terrific drama. A card inside the murder weapon. That's strange. Did the police miss it in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look. Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3 approves of this battle of wits. Please revise your testimony with this new information. I discovered the trap during the game and disposed of the... What you just said before the game? Disposed the card in a bottle. Hold it. Hold it. You just said you discovered it before the game. Why in the bottle? I received my opponent's intent immediately. Amused entrapment, you see. I knew what was coming. Oh, so you struck first. I like that. I know every trick in the book. They don't work on me. At least when you get lucky and stick your hand in your pocket, they don't. The girl was knocked out cold, and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. Hold it! You made the call to the police on the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get a signal down in the hideout. Was anyone else on the first floor at the time? Not a soul. It was the middle of the night after all, so that it was dark in the restaurant. I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. Hold it! And when you returned, the victim was already dead. Yes. I admit, I was a little startled when I walked in. A little? He's bleeding from his forehead after all. I guess I'd be startled too if I walked on a scene like that. That's when I made another phone call to defense attorney Gavin. Hold it! Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin? I obviously got involved in a rather sticky affair. I figured Christoph's lost, so give me a friend rate on defense fees. Glad to hear you intended to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Christoph. It was I who got you involved after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. Oh, goodness. Is this the truth that Mr. Wright was talking about? Justice, you know what you have to do. He's lying. Expose him now. Yes, sir. I have to think. What's Mr. Wright trying to tell me with this testimony? The truth has to be in there somewhere. That evening, Christoph and I had dinner. Photograph. Maybe. So is the card in the bottle. Present. Maybe it's the bottle? Would it be the deadly bottle? Objection! Would it be the deadly bottle that's here? Your Honor, this statement contradicts this evidence. It does? I don't see anything contradictory. You sure of that? Objection overruled. Try to think. Justice. Okay, we'll try and figure out what in the world this is next time. Goodbye, guys.